I got a very good question from Troy, one of my subscribers, that asked the question about what I did when I got into a car that had costly repairs. To flip it, what I did about those costly repairs, which, if you're in this business, it's going to happen to you. And this is one thing that I harp on a little bit, is the people that try to train you so in this business. Um, this is what is so hard to train in this business because uh, buying and selling and opportunities are what this business is about. And sometimes you have to make an opportunity. When you buy a car and it's got costly repairs on it, you have to be real creative about how you're going to make some money on that car, or at least recoup your investment on that car, which is a lot of times we have to do. So I'm going to give a couple examples of what I've done just recently, as a matter of fact. Shane went out and bought a 2006 Mountaineer, super clean looking car, 122,000 miles. It was knee deep with the tires. I mean, it was just a real nice vehicle. So he went out and he bought that vehicle, and on the way home, that vehicle took off in third gear. It come through the lane fine, but there was no way when you're buying these cars at auction sometime that you know if the transmission's going to shift out. So, of course, we didn't know that. And so driving the car home, the car did not shift. It took off in third gear, so it didn't shift. So it was an all-wheel drive, and we took it to two different transmission shops. And neither one of these shops would even price us to repair this car because of it being an all-wheel drive. So here I sit with $1,800 plus auction fees in the car. And I pulled the car around back, and Shane says, well, maybe we should take it back to the auction and this and that. Another auction, run it through and go ahead and take our losses. And the damn car just was so nice, I couldn't bring myself to do it. So that car sat here in the back field for like 3 months. And I kept not aggressively looking for someone to put a transmission in the car, but I just kept it back there. And so, there was a day where that $1,800, of course, would have killed me to have to sit there on that car. And lo and behold, no mechanic would touch it. No, what am I trying to say? Transmission company would touch it. And one day, a mechanic, a young man, strolled in on our lot, and he said, I just started my mechanic shop at my home, and I was wondering if you had any work that I could do. And he said, I've got great prices. I'm just starting out. And you could tell that the young man needed the work. And so I immediately, I had several cars for them, but I said, I'm going to give you the toughest thing that I've got on the lot. And if you make it work, I'll help you make a lot of money in your new business. I took him back to the Mountaineer, and I said, nobody will touch it. All-wheel drive, nobody will touch the car. What do you charge if I can find a used transmission for this car, what would you charge me to take this one out and put another one in? And he told me, about $300. Well, that had my attention. I went to his house to find out where his shop was and everything. I did my due diligence, I guess is what I'm saying. And then I said, I tell you what I'm going to do, would like to do. I'm going to budget $1,000 for you to fix this transmission. Now, if you can put another one in it, fine. If you can get this one fixed, fine. But I've got $1,000 that I'll spend on this car. If you can find another transmission for $100, $200, $300, that's fine as long as the car drives out fine. And so he said, okay, I'll do that. He loaded the car up on his car hauler. He took it to his shop. He contacted me back and says, I can put, the problem is a valve body and solenoids in the car. I can put a new valve body and solenoids in the car, but the parts are going to cost me $500. And I said, well, it sounds like you're going to make $500 then, because you've got a $1,000 budget to play with. And so if you can get my transmission going, you in and out it, put the valve body and the solenoids in it, and you keep me under $1,000, go for it. The young man did. He got my car back to me, shipped it out perfect. I wound up spending my $1,000 with him, plus the $1,800 that I already had in it. Shane took it to the auction yesterday, and it brought $3,800. So I had an $800 profit now on the car from auction, repairing the car, and fixing it. And Shane did just exactly what he knows to do. He did not wholesale the car because he said, I know what I've got here. If I go out here and I buy another $1,800 or $2,000 car, what if it's got a bad transmission in it? What if I wind up spending another $1,000 on it? So since I know what I've got here, it just brought $38 at the auction. I don't think I'll sell it. I'll carry it back to the lot. I'm still going to price it at $5,000. At least I've got a real $38 if I have to take it at auction. But I think I can retail the car. So that's what we do. Now, in reference to your air compressors and things of that nature, Troy, you might refer to those as expensive repairs. I personally don't. Most air compressors I can buy off of eBay for around $100, maybe $150 at most. That's not too much. If that's the only thing that happens to you on a car to be able to flip it, then that's not going to eat into your profit that much. So air compressors and things of that nature, I just go ahead and buy off of eBay. Now I've got a mechanic here. I've got 4 mechanics now, and they all take their spells. So they, when they get what I would call not necessarily hungry, but they decide they're willing to work that day at a reasonable amount, I pick out whichever one is going to get me my car back quicker and charge me a reasonable fee. Most of my mechanics are charging me $100 to change out my compressors. So I gladly pay the $100. So I'm winding up at $250. I do have my own AC gauges. I keep Freon and things here that we do ourselves. But the wrench turning, we hire out to the mechanic that has the best opportunity for us at that time. I don't go to traditional shops that charge $75 to $90 an hour, and I'm not loyal to any shop that does charge me a regular hour rate. We run a lot of cars through here, and we spend a lot on mechanics. And I understand that from the retail public, if they can get the $75 to $100 an hour, more power to them. But you don't want to go to a car dealer as a mechanic and expect him to pay you $75 an hour, $100 an hour. The guy can't do it. I can't do it. I can't go out here on that Mountaineer. If a mechanic really, I could have offered them $3,000 to $4,000, and they would have eventually put that transmission in, and I would have been buried in it. And the main reason is they didn't take the job is they knew they were going to charge me out the ass to do the repairs, because it was worth it to them. Wasn't worth it to me. So I waited for the right mechanic to come along. I'm continuously advertising for mechanics. I had one come in the other day, promised me a bunch of work, took one of my cars, kept it 4 days. I went back to check on the car. He hadn't even touched the car. and started giving me some kind of lame excuse. So I make it clear with mechanics, and I'm telling you here, the most important thing, do not let them tear your car down. I will not let a mechanic tear my car down and then set it out there, because now I've had that happen in the past, where they take my cars, they tear them down, and they claim they can't get their waiting on the parts. And I've waited months for these people to get my car. So once you've got a torn down car, I've had literally mechanics take a car from being a car that I could have made profit on to where they turned into a salvage car for me. So you got to be very, very careful about the mechanics that you pick. You're going to find opportunities happen every day. That's what this business is about. So when people are out there telling you their way works, how to train, I'm going to tell you that I become a genius every time I sell a car, and I become the biggest idiot in the world every time I lose money on a car. So this is a day-to-day business. You're only as good as your next purchase. You're not going to have a rule of thumb out here that's where you make money on every car. And anybody that convinces you that you are, we all know how I feel about that. So, no, you're going to make money on some cars. You're going to make money if you're working at it and you do your due diligence and hire mechanics. Make your mechanics understand you don't want your car touched till all the parts are in and he's ready to complete that car and get paid for it. Troy, I hope that answers your question. Thanks for your question. Any of you that have additional questions, do exactly what Troy did. I'll post it in the comments section the best that I know how. Please subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to hearing from you.